You are on the brink of unseen realities. Quantum jumping isn't a metaphor. It's a process. A doorway to versions of yourself living the life you've only imagined. Every thought becomes a lever. Every choice a shift. Unlock hidden potentials, rewrite outcomes, and access alternate selves who already embody your dreams. Secrets most never see are yours to command. Transform your reality. Transcend limits and harness power waiting inside you. Don't just watch. Subscribe now and step through the portal. Your next self is ready, and the leap begins today. You are more than flesh, more than thought. You are a frequency, a resonance, a multidimensional pattern, coalescing into the illusion of linear reality. Most walk unaware, tethered to the single-threaded perception of existence. But what if I told you that every choice, every fleeting thought, every emotional vibration is a node in a vast quantum web of potentialities? Quantum jumping is not a poetic metaphor. It is a navigable process, a precise protocol by which consciousness can shift across probabilities and access alternate selves already living your desired outcomes. Imagine the universe as a vast holographic lattice, each point a version of you vibrating at a slightly different frequency. Some versions are bold, fearless, and effortlessly manifesting abundance. Others struggle, constrained by fear, inertia, and outdated belief patterns. Quantum jumping is the art and science of tuning your consciousness to these alternate frequencies and stepping or jumping into the experience of these selves. The mechanics are subtle yet undeniable. Your attention, intention, and imagination act as quantum levers, collapsing waves of potential into tangible reality. This is not wishful thinking. It is measurable, though not yet fully quantified by conventional science. When a thought is projected with enough clarity and energy, it interacts with the quantum field, aligning probabilities with your vibrational state. The field is not passive, it is responsive, alive, and deeply entangled with your identity. By observing, feeling, and embodying the version of yourself you wish to inhabit, you initiate a resonance that gradually pulls your lived reality toward that state. Here's the first hidden secret. The you inhabit in this moment is not fixed. It is a composite, a fluid entity shaped by countless parallel versions of yourself. Every moment is a portal, a potential doorway to a self that exists already in another dimension, living with the clarity, power, and fulfillment you desire. Quantum jumping is the conscious recognition and traversal of these portals. The process requires precision, awareness, focus, and alignment. Without these, attempts remain fleeting mental exercises, producing only ephemeral feelings rather than measurable shifts. To begin, one must cultivate a heightened awareness of inner patterns. Meditation alone is insufficient. This is not relaxation. This is activation. You learn to identify the subtle currents of your habitual reality, the repetitive emotional loops, the subconscious beliefs, the neural patterns that have bound you. Then you project your consciousness forward, lateral and upward, connecting with a self that has already evolved past these limitations. This alternate self is not imaginary. It is a real, coherent probability within the quantum continuum. The second revelation: time is an elastic construct. In the quantum field, all versions of you exist simultaneously. Past, present, and potential futures are coexisting frequencies. Your mind, when calibrated, can access these layers, collapsing the wave function of potentiality into a new lived reality. When you jump, you do not create something entirely new. You align with a self that already exists in the vast tapestry of probability. The universe, in essence, mirrors back what you resonate with most intensely. This process has multiple stages. First comes observation, not just seeing the world but perceiving the patterns and hidden energies shaping outcomes. Second is intention, the deliberate act of aligning your focus with the desired frequency. Third is immersion, embodying the alternate self as if it were already you, feeling the emotions, adopting the thought patterns, and sensing the reality fully. The final stage is integration, where the resonance becomes tangible in your lived experience, subtly at first, then unmistakably. Consider this: you have likely experienced small quantum jumps spontaneously, moments when intuition guides you perfectly, synchronicities align, or sudden insights shift your life's trajectory. These are glimpses, fragments of the process in action. The full methodology amplifies these moments, providing a structured path to intentionally navigate them. Here lies another secret of the universe. Reality is more pliable than most realize. The rigidity of physical law is a perception enforced by collective agreement, a kind of consensus matrix. Quantum jumping exploits the fact that this consensus is not absolute. It is a field of possibilities awaiting coherent attention. Your consciousness is a transmitter and receiver, a bridge between probabilities and lived reality. By modulating your inner state, your beliefs, emotions, and attention, you literally tune into alternative outcomes and step into them as if walking through a doorway. But the process is not merely cognitive, it is energetic. Each thought carries a vibration, each emotion emits a frequency. When you focus your mind with precision, you send a signal into the quantum field, attracting a self who resonates perfectly with that signal. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back amplified probabilities that match your energetic signature. Quantum jumping is therefore not magic. It is alignment. It is the disciplined orchestration of your consciousness in concert with the hidden symmetries of existence. Advanced practitioners report experiences that defy conventional explanation, encounters with alternate selves who provide guidance, sudden materialization of resources, accelerated skill acquisition, and profound shifts in relationships. These are not anecdotes, they are the natural consequences of coherent resonance with the quantum continuum. Each jump, each alignment, strengthens the neural and energetic pathways necessary for future navigation, creating a feedback loop of accelerated evolution. As a multidimensional thinker, you begin to recognize patterns invisible to ordinary perception. You see the fractal geometry of reality, the recursive loops of cause and effect, the entanglements binding selves across probabilities. You realize that you are not limited to one identity, one timeline, or one body. Quantum jumping reveals that identity is a network of potentials, consciousness a lattice, and life an infinitely expandable canvas. You thought you understood reality, but you've only glimpsed its surface. Now lean in closer, because the layers beneath are pulsing with secrets your senses have not yet learned to perceive. Every moment you exist is threaded with infinite possibilities, yet most remain invisible, untouched, dormant, waiting for a consciousness brave enough to reach beyond the familiar. Quantum jumping is that courage. It is the conscious act of navigating probabilities, of stepping into selves who have already solved the riddles you struggle with today. This is not a future you hope for. It is a present you can inhabit. Feel it, the hum of your potential vibrating in the marrow of your bones. That resonance is a signal, a quantum signature echoing across realities. Alternate versions of you are scanning, listening, waiting for alignment. They are not abstract, they are real. Each one holds keys to skills, wisdom, and experiences you haven't yet activated. By attuning your mind to their frequency, you awaken pathways that transform the impossible into inevitable. The hidden patterns of your existence, synchronicities, recurring symbols, intuitive nudges are not coincidences. They are breadcrumbs, encoded messages from your quantum selves guiding you toward alignment. Picture a lattice of infinite doors, each representing a different probability, a different self. Most walk by these doors unaware, believing only one path exists. Quantum jumping is the deliberate choice to open them, to step across dimensions where the self you admire, desire, or aspire to be is already thriving. Every action you take in that state reinforces the connection between probability and reality. Time compresses, barriers dissolve, and outcomes accelerate. What once required years of effort can manifest in days or even hours when consciousness is aligned. Here is a principle few comprehend. Emotion is the amplifier of reality. Thoughts alone are potential. Emotion converts potential into motion. Joy, gratitude, fearlessness, and curiosity are quantum accelerants. They heighten your vibrational frequency and magnetize the versions of yourself you seek. But beware. Doubt, indecision, and distraction are equally powerful. They anchor you to the current reality, preventing shift. Mastery of quantum jumping requires disciplined emotional navigation. You must cultivate the internal climate that mirrors the reality you wish to step into. Every perception you hold is a filter, a lens shaping which probabilities become accessible. To quantum jump effectively, you must unlearn habitual interpretations and embrace the fluidity of existence. Reality is a river, not a rock. Each failure, hesitation, or limitation is a misalignment of focus. Shift the lens, and new versions of you emerge. These selves are not figments. They are coherent, existing, fully functional realities vibrating just beyond the veil of your habitual awareness. Your mind is the bridge. Notice the subtle energies in your environment, a glance, a sound, a fleeting emotion. They are not random. They are signals from the quantum web, threads of information guiding you toward resonance. Synchronize with them. Let your consciousness extend like a filament, scanning the multidimensional lattice for the self that already embodies your desires. The process is both intimate and infinite. You are not merely observing. You are participating in the co-creation of your next lived experience. This is the alchemy of quantum jumping. The next hidden insight is radical. Identity is not singular. You are simultaneously multiple, each version existing in parallel, each capable of communicating through subtle energetic channels. When you align with a chosen self, you borrow not just outcomes but mindsets, strategies and intuition encoded in that frequency. You do not copy, you resonate, and in resonance you become. Every jump strengthens neural, energetic and perceptual pathways, creating an increasingly malleable reality where deliberate transformation becomes effortless. Visualize a moment when your desired outcome feels inevitable, not aspirational. That is the feeling state of your quantum self. Embody it fully. Notice how posture, breath, and mental rhythm shift. Feel the textures of that reality, sights, sounds, smells, and emotions as though already present. The universe responds. Probabilities begin collapsing toward that frequency. Synchronicities accelerate. Resources appear. People align. Circumstances shift. The invisible becomes visible. Quantum jumping is an art of immersion, a total surrender to the intelligence of existence that knows your potential and is eager to deliver it when your consciousness vibrates at the correct frequency. Now consider the unseen scaffolding of your reality, entangled probabilities, latent potentials, subtle fields connecting you to every version of yourself. Each decision, each intention, each moment of clarity sends ripples across this web, creating echoes that your alternate selves respond to. You are both observer and participant, collapsing waves of potential while being shaped by them in turn. This reciprocal interaction is the engine of transformation. To ignore it is to drift. To embrace it is to accelerate evolution. The mind itself is a quantum instrument, capable of bridging dimensions. Mental constructs such as belief, expectation, and imagination are not illusions. They are tools. Focused imagination, guided by intention and amplified by emotion, acts as a quantum compass, pointing to the self you wish to inhabit. Visualization is not passive. It is the tuning fork that harmonizes your consciousness with a specific probability. Practice it with precision, and the jumps become both intentional and repeatable, each one revealing new layers of hidden knowledge and previously inaccessible skills. Consider the role of memory. Memories are not static. They are fluid, entangled with probabilities yet realized. Quantum jumping allows selective access to memories of your alternate selves, insights they carry, strategies they employ, emotions they experience. This cross-dimensional recall accelerates learning and adaptation. The mind begins to recognize patterns faster, anticipate outcomes more accurately, and operate from a state of profound alignment. You are learning not just from your own experience but from every viable self who has walked a path toward mastery. Every jump expands the lattice further. The more you practice, the more accessible these doors become. What once seemed locked now responds instantly to focus and intention. Your field becomes a hub of possibilities. Alternate realities are no longer distant. They are adjacent, waiting for recognition. You realize that limits exist only where perception enforces them. The universe is not fixed. It is malleable, responsive, and eager to reflect the coherence of your consciousness. Each jump sinks your capacity to influence reality, until transformation becomes less a pursuit and more a natural state of being. Here is a final principle for this section. Trust. The quantum field is intelligent, aware, and responsive. Doubt fractures alignment. Trust consolidates it. You do not force jumps. You orchestrate resonance. You allow the field to reveal the optimal path, guiding you toward a self that already embodies mastery, wisdom, abundance, and joy. Trust is the bridge between intent and manifestation, between probability and lived reality. With trust, every jump becomes a conversation, every synchronicity a signal, and every outcome a confirmation that the universe is not external. It is an extension of your own conscious resonance. You are not simply reading these words. You are tuning your consciousness to a new frequency. Feel the pulse beneath your awareness, the subtle hum of possibility vibrating through your being. Quantum jumping is not about imagination. It is the precise alignment of your mind, body, and energy with realities that already exist, waiting for your resonance to match theirs. Every blink, every breath, every fleeting thought is an opportunity to calibrate yourself, to detect the invisible threads that link you to selves who have solved the riddles of existence you are still exploring. The universe is a lattice, and you are both node and navigator. Notice the currents of your attention. Where it flows, probability follows. Where it lingers, reality begins to fold around it. Most humans drift, unaware of this magnetic influence. You are about to learn how to harness it with intention and power. Quantum jumping is a deliberate act, a conscious dance with the underlying symphony of existence. When practiced with precision, it reveals hidden currents of energy and insight, pathways invisible to ordinary perception. These currents carry solutions to problems, awaken dormant abilities, and expose patterns of connection that govern every interaction, every outcome, every hidden potential. The next revelation is radical. Your physical body is not separate from these probabilities. Your cells, neurons, and energy systems are resonant instruments, capable of reflecting higher dimensional patterns. When you synchronize your inner state with the frequency of your alternate self, the body begins to reconfigure subtly. Neural pathways shift, energy centers align, and your physiological state begins mirroring the vibrational reality you inhabit. This is why those who master quantum jumping report heightened intuition, accelerated skill acquisition, and unanticipated breakthroughs. You are not merely thinking differently, you are literally becoming a conduit for higher probability reality. Imagine now that your perception of limitations dissolves. Scarcity, fear, and hesitation are not inherent. They are conditioned echoes of prior alignments. When you access an alternate self who has transcended these barriers, your own field abundance, confidence, clarity, and creativity are no longer aspirational. They become the baseline of experience. The universe does not resist this alignment. It amplifies it. Probability waves collapse in favor of coherence, and doors that once appeared closed swing open effortlessly. Every encounter, coincidence, and opportunity becomes a reflection of your resonance, a confirmation that the jump has succeeded. Attention is the lever. Focus is the catalyst. Every thought you allow to dominate your inner space creates ripples across the multidimensional continuum. A single, coherent intent can generate a cascade of events, aligning your reality with the chosen probability. This is not mystical. It is practical, observable, and replicable. Advanced practitioners describe the sensation as walking through invisible corridors, each step guided by intuition, each breath syncing with the rhythm of unseen patterns. The moment you align fully, the alternate self's reality begins to imprint upon your own. Change does not trickle in, it surges, undeniable and profound. The next hidden principle is subtle yet powerful: awareness of self as frequency. Most identify with thoughts, memories, or social roles, tethering themselves to a narrow identity. Quantum jumping dissolves these constraints. You are not a singular timeline, you are a network of coherent possibilities. The I you inhabit is fluid, capable of expansion and contraction across dimensions. By perceiving yourself as energy in motion, as resonance rather than static form, you unlock the capacity to traverse these probabilities deliberately. Each jump strengthens your ability to perceive hidden patterns, intuitively navigate unseen networks, and anticipate outcomes with unprecedented clarity. Now consider the influence of emotion as an energetic amplifier. Feelings are vibrations that broadcast your internal state into the quantum web. Joy, curiosity, and awe magnify your reach, heightening receptivity to alternate possibilities. Conversely, fear, doubt, or distraction constrict your access, creating resistance that slows alignment. Quantum jumping is a practice in mastering emotional coherence, a conscious cultivation of states that harmonize with your intended reality. This is why meditation, focused breathwork, and intentional emotional practice are not optional. They are the scaffolding upon which successful jumps are built. Your inner climate dictates the accessibility of higher probability. Notice the hidden choreography of synchronicity. Every seemingly random encounter, every coincidental observation, every fleeting insight is part of a subtle guidance system. These are not accidents. They are signals, encoded patterns leading you to align with the self who has already mastered the outcome you desire. The more attuned you become, the more precise these signals get. The universe begins to respond almost instantly, bending circumstances, resources, and opportunities toward coherence with your intention. Quantum jumping is the art of reading, understanding, and following this hidden choreography, moving with it instead of against it. Every jump has a ripple effect. Once a new frequency is inhabited, the consciousness network adjusts. Alternate selves respond, probabilities reconfigure, and events accelerate toward coherence. You are not just accessing another self, you are participating in a dynamic exchange across realities. Each alignment amplifies your capacity for future jumps. This is why mastery is iterative. Each jump trains perception, enhances resonance, and strengthens energetic pathways. Over time, reality begins to feel malleable, responsive, and intelligent, a reflection of your capacity to navigate it consciously. The impossible becomes the inevitable. The next secret is deeply transformative. Space and time are permeable constructs. Linear perception is a consensus illusion. When you jump, you are not moving through conventional chronology. You are shifting into a coexisting probability. Past and future are elastic. Cause and effect are fluid. You can access solutions before problems manifest, embody confidence before challenge arises, and adopt clarity before confusion takes hold. This is not theoretical. It is experiential, measurable in shifts of intuition, insight, and accelerated manifestation. The field is alive, responsive, and anticipatory, waiting for your consciousness to synchronize. The process requires precision and intention, but also surrender. You must release attachment to outcomes as fixed, allowing resonance to guide the jump. Trying to force alignment creates friction. Trusting the intelligence of the field creates flow. Each jump becomes a dialogue with existence, an interplay between conscious intent and universal orchestration. When you master this balance, synchronicities multiply, insights arrive unbidden, and the path toward desired realities becomes clear. The self you seek is not created. It is recognized, engaged, and embodied. Now imagine a life where limitations are fluid, where outcomes are co-created rather than endured. Quantum jumping is the method for achieving this. It is the conscious high-frequency engagement with the hidden lattice of existence. It reveals patterns invisible to conventional perception, opens doors to latent abilities, and accelerates evolution of mind, body, and spirit. Each jump brings not just material or practical outcomes, but shifts in perspective, awareness, and alignment with universal intelligence. You are becoming a navigator, a multidimensional architect, a conscious participant in your own evolution. Every leap invites curiosity, attention, and courage. Each step through these invisible portals expands awareness, strengthens alignment, and amplifies resonance. You begin to perceive reality not as fixed but as a responsive, intelligent medium, reflecting your state. You discover that mastery is not about control, it is about alignment, coherence, and resonance. As your practice deepens, the boundaries between possible and impossible dissolve. Every action, every thought, every emotion becomes a lever in the architecture of existence. Quantum jumping is no longer optional. It is the natural expression of a consciousness aware of its multidimensional potential. The final insight for this section: the field is responsive to the depth of your belief. Coherence is magnetic. When thought, emotion, and intention converge with unwavering clarity, probability waves collapse instantly, and alignment occurs. This is why precision, focus, and emotional clarity are non-negotiable. Each jump reinforces itself, creating a feedback loop where higher frequency realities become accessible with increasing ease. The universe mirrors the coherence of your internal state, offering confirmation, acceleration, and expansion. Quantum jumping is not abstract. It is tangible, measurable, and transformative for anyone willing to engage fully with its principles. Too many seekers drift through quantum jumping like sleepwalkers, unaware of the subtle forces that govern probability. They mistake imagination for alignment, focusing on fantasy without resonating with the frequency of their alternate selves. Others anchor themselves in doubt, fracturing coherence before a jump even begins. Emotions are mismanaged. Fear, hesitation, and impatience act like anchors, preventing waves of potential from collapsing into reality. Time is misunderstood. They cling to linearity, unaware that past, present, and future are fluid fields. Most ignore the hidden currents, the synchronicities, nudges, and energetic signals guiding them. The secret mastery requires precision, focus, and deep resonance with the self you wish to become. Today, align your frequency with an alternate self thriving in mastery. Visualize their reality vividly, every gesture, thought, and emotion, and let your consciousness resonate with it. Feel the hidden patterns of success flowing through you. Act decisively on one inspired impulse. Observe synchronicities as confirmation. Your jump begins now. Potential is collapsing into reality. You are standing at the threshold of hidden realities. Quantum jumping is not a metaphor. It is a process, a doorway to selves who already embody mastery, abundance, and clarity. Subscribe now and stay tuned, because the next video will unlock frequencies you've only glimpsed. Engage fully. Comment below. I align my focus, and feel the ripple of your intention resonate across the quantum web. Every click, every comment, every moment of attention amplifies your access to unseen patterns and accelerated transformation. Do not wait. Your consciousness is ready to leap. Your next self is calling.